Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Ellen. We're going to have fun painting some wildflowers using some great wet and wet techniques, washing in the sky and trying to wash in a colorful sky. It's not so easy. You want to put in the yellows and oranges and then you have blues and you don't want to make it turn green. So I'm showing a technique how to do that. And then we're going to throw in some salt and scrape some stuff and just paint some simple wildflowers. It's so much fun. These are techniques that I use to make it more interesting and fun. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section. There's no need for a trace or anything. This is just having fun and just going for it. So, like I said, no need for anything like special. We're just going to have fun with paint. So let's get started. Okay, so I'm using a block by Bohang here. It's 100% cotton cold press. Got my paints here, but the first thing I'm going to do is take some this PBO masking fluid with a crappy brush. I'm just going to kind of splatter where I think I would want to put some flowers, kind of like around here. Splattering is going to give you a more natural looking effect. Just splatter like this. You want to paint in some like daisies, you can do that. You can use bigger splatters. I think the small ones are kind of cute. You got the little ones there. And then if you have a skinny brush, you can just go in and take some of the make little daisy marks. It's up to you, because you have to leave white if you want it to be true watercolor. If you have a masking fluid pen, you could use that and kind of mush over some of these little ones that you splattered. It's up to you how you want to do this, but I'm just going to take my brush as you see, and I'm just kind of making like little simple daisies, connecting some of those little dots all in the front. And zoom in so you can see what I'm doing here. And I'm just masking in some simple shapes for the flowers. Just a little skinny brush goes a long way. I'm just going to do that. And of course, you got to let it dry naturally. Once these are dry, we'll go in and just figure out where you want to put your landmass. You can kind of figure maybe like here it starts. It's up to you. It kind of goes down here. I don't know. And then I'm going to paint the sky, and then we're just going to wash in some greens. Just like all that good stuff. I'm using a number 16 Neptune series brush for my sky. I usually use ultramarine blue, but I'm going to play around with cobalt. Some brighter blue here. Although it's mixed with I'll mix some ultramarine blue too. Now you can do wet on dry, wet on wet, whatever. It can be a little bit yellow too. I'm going to add some new yellow color. Yellow, pink, orange, kind of going out this way. So maybe I'll play with some yellow here first. Bright. Maybe add some pink too. I'm adding some bright rose. Look at that. And some yellow. And then I'll add the blue too. Just make it a little fun. Now, you don't want them to mix too much because they become like mud. So if you want to just grab some water, clear water here. And I'll just start to grab the blue, ultramarine blue, deep. And I'm just kind of mixing it all on this side. So I'm going to kind of tilt it, pull it up, put a little like that, go down a little bit like this, and call it a day. See, it's almost like the sky is coming through. See, I'll just put a little bit of yellow in there. I'm going to grab some more yellow, brighten it up a little bit. Woohoo! And a little pink. Yes. Clean off my brush. I just kind of move that paint in there. Just really want that bright orangey kind of color, maybe more pink. It seems to be washing away, so I'm kind of like making it by adding more color in there, make it more stay, and then put a little bit over here. We really don't want it to mix too much because it will turn into like a lovely little green color. But this is kind of like an abstract, so who cares? I'm going back with the blue. Get a little darker on the side. And a little bit up on top. See where this folds. See where this goes. Yeah, I'm playing with this. I have that white kind of section in here. See what happens. All right. I don't know if I'm like loving this blue sky over here. I might lift some of this. Just kind of wiggling my brush and tapping back. It's fine. Definitely want it a little bit lighter here. All right, we're gonna just kind of play with adding in some of the grass. We got all these colors already mixed over here. Let's grab some Prussian blue, grab the yellow. We've got greens already. Since we're playing with this, kind of throw in some green, more yellow pigment. All right. I'm gonna play with adding lots of water here. Tipping my brush into water, so it's very, very wet. Going downward. Right, more Prussian blue. It's going to get deeper. Some burnt umber. More Prussian blue. Burnt umber. A little deeper, darker, like trees back here. Going to add some more burnt umber. You can't go wrong with this. You just kind of play with adding the color. Making some landmass back there. Now here, it's kind of bleeding down. I'm going to make a thicker paint with the cadmium yellow deep. Kind of lift that. I don't mind if it bleeds too much, but I'm going to start to play with just taking clear water and moving this down. I'm tilting my paper here too. I don't have to paint the whole paper, by the way. Just that much is good enough. Right. And then we can start to play with adding in some thicker paint. A little darker here and there. So here's the Prussian blue, the yellow, and maybe more brown. I have enough brown. I could use burnt sienna too. More blue. Gets deep dark colors. Still a little too bright. I want it darker. It's not going to move as much. It's thicker paint. Getting dark in here. Still using the 16 brush. Playing with this color. Moving it around. Over here. Cleaning it off. I'm going to start to use a different brush. My 8 long round from Velvet Touch series. Now I'm going to loosen up some of that burnt sienna and ultramarine blue. Get some more brown tones. So it'll be like a summer wild field, grass, light greens, browns, greens. I'm going to start to like lift up. See, I'm going to wiggle my brush. Moving up. You can, even while it's really damp, not super damp because it will scrape right back into the paper. We're going to use a scraping tool. You can use whatever you have. A stick. I use this that opens up the block. You could use any kind of scraping tool, a credit card, you name it. I'm going to actually add some burnt sienna here. Change this up a little bit from being so green. Add some browns. Out here, like a field. You would see browns in a field. It's very, very wet. It wouldn't just be all green. Could even add some ultramarine blue in there. Water that down, of course. It will change it even more so. Ultramarine blue will just change the color green. It's not the prettiest color green, but it's kind of cool. See, going in there and changing these tones. Just like the energy of it all. Right? While this is still damp, you can go back in and make a deeper green again. I'm adding more of that blue with burnt umber. It's really kind of thick. So like there's trees back here. Just kind of wiggling this brush. This is the 12 Neptune series. Wiggle, tapping. You get there's some trees back here. A little line. Kind of playing with this. Adding in. Just like that. So we got like a field, we got some like light colors coming through. It's very puddly in here, so watch if I scrape, you're not going to see the white. It's going to last for like a minute maybe, and it's going to fold back in, depending on the paper and how wet and damp it is. You can add these little grasses. See? And if it's really, really damp still, it's going to fold right back in. But it's fun to play with that. So I use this tool. I have credit cards somewhere on my desk that I've used in the past. I'm kind of missing them right now. So you can use like a side of a roller. See? Whatever you got that's kind of could scrape something. You know, twigs are great. So I'm making those grasses happening up here. That light green. Still very damp, so it's going to kind of, but that's kind of cool. You can even splatter some of that beautiful chartreuse green right up in here. Right? And connect some of that. It's up to you. It's like wild. It got up into my sky a little bit. Maybe not the best thing. If I was going to fix it, which I don't know if I should, I would just tap lightly with the paper towel. See if I can remove some of the green. This is what I do if I was making, why did I do that? And I don't like the green there. Try and remove some of it. So I'm liking this kind of energy that's happening here. It's really kind of cool. It's a very, very kind of splattered stuff in here. There is a way to kind of make this, have this kind of cool effect. It isn't technically a watercolor if you add gouache, but gouache does this thing where it goes kind of dissipates, or you can add some lovely salt. So I'll put some salt over here and see what happens when it dries. That always adds a great texture. This is not as thick as it should be. I would rather have a thick kosher salt, but good enough. So back at it, doing some brush work with some nice little grasses. So it's still very damp. We really just kind of need to wait till it all kind of dries at this point. You know, so we can start to add some really cool things in. We could scrape an actual fence if it's not super wet. I can see. What? Yeah. Go down and connect. Look at that. Can you see it? The fence I scraped? Really kind of cool. Alright, so I'm going to let the salt soak in. We're going to let this all kind of like dissipate. I'm going to go back in after it dries and see what we created. I'm going to add a little more salt over here. See what kind of coolness comes out of this baby. All those speckles of salt. Lots of fun. All right, let's let it dry by the magic television. It will dry and we'll come back. All right, the power of magic television. It's dry. I don't think the salt worked as well as I hoped. You know, it has a kind of cool effect. Maybe if it was darker greens. I don't know. At this point, we can play with grabbing our number 8 long round and taking this brush and start to do all these lovely little grasses. Just kind of like wisping, and then take some nice deep dark ones as well. Dark paint, we still have some dark paint in here, even some browns. Ultramarine blue mixed with some burnt sienna. Get some nice deep color in here. Going in here, and just, I'm just kind of taking the brush and wisping, and you can do some nice, really kind of cool. Get out here even with the bright light green. That's kind of dissipated here, but we can go out and do some really kind of cool grasses. Bending down over. Remember, it's a wildflower field. Just kind of going nuts. So we want some that's really kind of sticking way out. Way up and out. Just like that. Remember, we have those green spots, so we can compensate by connecting them. And no one will ever know that we made kind of like a little mess. I know, I'm crazy like that. And then add the bright green. You can, just right out of the tube, that yellow mixed with a little green, you can really see it kind of over on top of this lovely greens right here. You can see it. And of course back here. All right, just like this big brush of fun greens. And get some darks in there and get some browns. Just go nuts. And then put some over here. Where we have those, don't forget, we have those masked out little splotches. So kind of connect them where those are, adding some more Prussian blue with some brown. You can connect them. Just kind of wiggling my brush Get all the greens in here. It's a crazy wildflower field, so you want to be wild with your brush. No soldiers here. I don't want soldier lines like no. You're gonna have them wild, crisscrossing, going over each other, adding different color tones with the blue and the brown. Make it interesting. We don't want soldiers. Soldier field. See, that's more interesting now, like grasses. So once you finish that, I'm gonna add just a little bit more bright chartreuse green kind of happening in here, more yellows. Almost like yellow right out of the tube coming right here. You can even splash some of that, which I will do. Right in here and up in here. Really thick yellow paint, gonna tap it. See? We can do other colors too. But right now I'm just gonna concentrate on the yellow and make it kind of clustered in one section. And we'll let this dry and remove that lovely masking fluid and see what we reveal. Kind of cool, right? All right, so I'm gonna let this section dry and we'll come back. Now I remove the masking fluid with this rubber cement pickup. It's the best thing. It's in my Amazon shop. It's like $4 or maybe $5 now. And you just kind of like go like this. It's so much easier. Look at that. The splattering really, it's white paper left. It's not gouache. I didn't do the lines with that, but I just took it up. Whatever else we got going in here. Kind of cool, right? So it's a true watercolor. Instead of using a white gouache. Masking fluid, just splattering it. And you got those beautiful, lovely daisies. A few colors from Holbein kind of act like gouache, which is the verditer blue and lilac. Somewhat of this one here, this cobalt turquoise. So I'll put some lilac here. You can basically just water it down just a touch. Just grab whatever brush you feel comfortable with. I have my 8 long round here. And you can just tippy tap, like I tell you all the time, some blooms in here. And if you mix it with ultramarine blue, you get a nice deeper blue. But, you know, or splatter it because, again, it's easier to do that, right? But those will be really, really tiny splatters. I think it's just fun. Just to, you can actually make some shapes with this or just kind of tap around some of the grasses with the color. Especially in the dark areas, you're really going to see it more. Really kind of nice. The yellow's kind of faded a little bit. You can go back over with the yellow. I would go yellow, center in our little daisies. So you can see that this cobalt is really kind of fun. I'll clean up my brush and grab some of that. See, again, you can see this color. Of course, it's really not a color you would see in nature. Mix the cobalt with the lilac. You get a nice kind of funky blue. Actually, it's the kind of, if you don't have verditer blue and you have the cobalt turquoise, you'll make verditer blue with the lilac because it looks just like the verditer blue, just a little bit darker. So here's the blue going in. Very impressionistic style. So the cobalt and the lilac. And you make this wonderful blue. I'm just kind of mushing the paint around and add some ultramarine blue. And it's a little bit deeper and you'll see that color too. How pretty is this? And this is our wildflower field. More blues and purples. I mean, you could do red, cadmium red light. Watch that color, it's fantastic. That will go in there as well. I have some over here, I'll just squeeze them out of the tube. Tubes are my favorite because it's just easier, faster. And I don't really deal with paint. Look at that, beautiful red. Push it down kind of like on the side so it looks like poppies. So they could be red poppies. Kind of happening here, kind of cluster them for the wildflowers. Just in a section right there. I wouldn't put them everywhere. Unless there's more people. And you can put a couple little teeny ones popping back here. Like there's a wild poppy field back here. See a little red, teeny red back there. Isn't that sweet? And I'll go back in with my yellow, cadmium yellow deep, right in between the white, so it look like daisies. And then my yellow kind of dried. You can't really tell. I'm gonna put some more yellow back in here. You can put some yellow back here. Again, you can make more yellow petals like an actual daisy up here. Super fun. Lots of fun to paint wildflowers. It's just some techniques that I like to do with the wet on wet. The sky can be completely this wonderful yellow with orange, and then you get the blue in here. And of course, go back in and put in some stems. Really kind of have fun with it. And that's it. Isn't that sweet? I just really enjoy this. Have fun with this. Play with the colors. I'm going to make this a little bright. I'll grab some peacock blue, make a nice chartreuse yellow green. Put some color back here happening. I can continue all day, but let's throw some dry brushing color down here. Just brighten it up a little bit. And that's that. So wasn't that fun? Super fun wildflower field. Really, please, you can do this. I know you can. You're just washing in the sky. Now, if you don't want to get it muddy, try and keep some space away from the blue and the yellow, like I did, so it doesn't go in and turn it green. So there you go. And you're just blending in this background to get a nice deep background of greens, etc., etc. And then make this kind of area, more depth, deeper colors. Play around with adding in some of that tones. Here I'm adding in some deeper greens just to give us more interest, so it's not just soldiers sticking down like that. All right, thank you guys so much for stopping by my channel. If you love my content, maybe consider joining my Patreon, where you can support my channel here on YouTube, and we have so many things for you on Patreon. Lots of exclusive tutorials that are not on YouTube, very long, including reference photos and traceables. We have a live stream in the top tier. We go over even more advanced things that are not on the mid tier. We have a Facebook group where we share stuff. I have monthly giveaways, etc., things like that, and challenges. So thank you so much. And please, please hit that bell notification button to know my tutorials up so you can see them, because I think people aren't seeing the tutorials because they haven't hit that notification button, and somehow my past ones are not getting shown, but I've consistently have tutorials out every week. So always look for them. Thank you so much. Have a great day.